Welcome back to Knack Kitchen, where today we're gonna be making sugar cookies. And I'm gonna be honest, I have never been a fan of sugar cookies. I always think that they're a little too sweet and, well, not as palatable as some of the other cookies that are out there, but it is that time of the year, it's Christmas, and sugar cookies are absolutely perfect. And the recipe that I'm going to be making today is not overly sweet, and it's actually just the right amount of sweetness. It's eggless as well. The icing is also without egg. So if you are a vegetarian, you don't need to even worry about that. And with all that being said, let's just get into this video and see how we make these amazing cookies. So to make these cookies, we only need 4 ingredients, and here I have some soft butter to which I'm adding some icing sugar. Now I'm not using regular sugar, I am using icing sugar because it is a little less sweet and I find that it's perfect for this recipe. So after adding the icing sugar, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of vanilla extract, which is just for flavoring. And like I said, there's only 4 ingredients. So naturally, once we mix in the vanilla extract, we're going to go ahead and add the final ingredient, and that's flour. Now with the flour, I like to add about 80% of the flour first and mix that in with my hand mixer. And once that has been incorporated, I go ahead and add the remaining flour, and then with the help of my hands, I bring this all together into a cookie dough. And that's it. It's a very simple and basic cookie dough. So when we're bringing the dough in together, we don't knead it too much, because if you over knead your dough, you're going to end up with a tough cookie. So here I've just brought it all together and it's not sticking to my palms, and that's how we know that the cookie dough is ready. So we're just going to set this aside and then transfer this onto a piece of parchment paper, and then we're going to roll this out between 2 sheets of parchment paper. And the thickness, something which I've said for all of my last 3 videos, you have to roll it out somewhere between 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch in thickness. And then we're just going to cut out the shapes, and you can use whichever cookie cutters you have. Once you've cut out all of the shapes, we are going to refrigerate this for not more than 10 to 15 minutes. These cookies don't really spread too much while baking, but just to be safe, while the oven is preheating, you might as well put this in the refrigerator. So now I have all of my cookies lined up in a baking sheet, and before this goes into an oven, all I'm going to say is that you should try and bake the cookies of the same size at the same time, so they all have the same baking time. Depending on the size of your cookies, your baking time will vary, and I'll try and mention this in the description box below. So our cookies are out of the oven and they look amazing. We're going to set this aside to cool completely, and once they've cooled down, we're going to go ahead and make the royal icing. So for the royal icing, I have some icing sugar in a bowl, to which I'm going to go ahead and add some meringue powder because we're not using egg whites here. And along with that, we're adding just a little bit of vanilla extract for flavor, and finally some water. Now the amount of water is going to depend on the consistency that you're looking for. For outlining the cookies and for making little details, we need a thicker consistency, while for the middle, just to fill it up, it's called a flat consistency. That is going to be different. Here what I've made is more of a flat consistency, where you can see any kind of pattern I try to make immediately dissolves into the icing. For a outline consistency, what you're looking for is that the pattern should stay at least for 10 seconds. With that being said, I'll try and put more details in the next video. You can pipe your icing either with the help of a bag with a nozzle or directly with a piping bag and just snip the tip at the end. Now, just in case you don't have a piping bag, you don't need to worry. You can just spoon the icing directly onto a cookie and then coax it to the edges using a toothpick. Here you'll only need a flat consistency. You can color the icing with whatever food color you have, and it's almost like painting. So if you're good at painting, you'll be good at this. I am not good at painting, and hence I'm equally bad at this as well. But like I said, if you don't have a piping bag, this is quite a neat way of doing it. And depending on your skills, you might just be doing this a lot better than I am. But I just wanted to show you like a quick fix how you can work around not having a piping bag. That being said, if you do have a piping bag, that will be just so much better, and I'm just going to show you how you work in that case. So we first start with a thick consistency, which is the outline consistency, and we make the outline for our cookies. And you would first want to make the outline for almost all of your cookies because we want the outline to set, which will take about 5 to 10 minutes depending on the temperature. It'll also depend on the humidity, but it's winter, so not really that big a factor. It will definitely set. So we'll wait for it to dry out, and in the meanwhile, if there are any gaps in our outline, we can fill that in. And once the outline has set, we're going to go ahead with the flat consistency, and we're just going to spoon this in, and we don't need to really worry because the outline is going to help the icing from falling over the cookie. So now we're again going to use a toothpick to just push the icing towards the edges and cover the cookie completely. Now, with that being said, you can make little details with your thicker icing, and here you have my sugar cookies. They're far from perfect, but they are good fun. And particularly if you do this with children at home or even just your family in general, even if everybody's grown up, it's still a great activity and it's a wonderful opportunity for someone who is very artistic. So basically, not me. But with that being said, it is great fun, and I think that's what Christmas is about. It's about your family and spending great time with your loved ones and eating good food as well. And I feel like this checks both those boxes. And in case you enjoyed this video, then please do give a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you with one final cookie video tomorrow.